So my friends, in the rabbinic world, there's three categories, three status of people. There's your rabbis, there are your non-rabbis, and then there's this category that we call your Erev Rav. And what does Erev Rav mean? Rav means rabbi, and Erev means the eve of, right? And so the third category in the rabbinic world are those people who are on the path to becoming rabbis, but they're not quite there yet. And so we refer to ourselves as, I'm not a rabbi, I am just Erev Rav. Now this category can be inhabited for quite some period of time, because rabbinical school does last for 5 years, or for some of us, 6 years. And it is a great moment to watch someone go from Erev Rav to actual Rav. And that is exactly what happened this week on Monday, as our rabbinic intern for these past 2 years, Matt Rosenberg, crossed the threshold and was ordained and is now officially a rabbi. We have been blessed to have Matt as part of our congregation for a number of years. And in the course of that time, we have been fortunate to be able to have him as a teacher, as a counselor, as a pastor, as a friend, and just as a congregant here. In all of that time and in all of those roles, Matt has been incredibly gracious, incredibly patient, and very open to the congregation, to learn from the congregation, so that when it came time that he made that transition, he would be ready to go forward as a rabbi. For myself and for Rabbi Silver, it has been a wonderful time for us to be able to work with him, to watch as he grows into this role, as well as the ways in which he has helped us grow. And it is a pleasure to be able to welcome up to the Bima for the first time, Rabbi Matt Rosenberg.
Thank you, Rabbi Bernhard. Shabbat Shalom. In a mere 12 days, my family of 5, Jen, myself, our 3 kids, we're going to say goodbye to the movers, pile into our 2 cars, and drive 1,500 miles east on Interstate 10 to our new home, our new community in College Station, Texas, where I'm going to assume the role of campus rabbi and executive director of Hillel at Texas A&M University. With this huge transition looming, I have been giving much thought to the idea of uprooting oneself. So when I studied this week's Torah portion, I was moved by the fear and anger of the Israelites as they took a 3-day journey from Mount Sinai. At the end of chapter 10, they're marching in the wilderness, happy as can be. But by the beginning of chapter 11, they're complaining, as the Israelites are wont to do. They complain even though the ark of God is amongst them, and even though Moses recites a familiar and beautiful refrain, a prayer before their travels, which goes something like this: Kuma Adonai ve'afutzu oivecha ve'anusu misanecha mipanecha. Advance, O Lord, may your enemies be scattered, and may your foes flee before you. The Israelites complain even though the cloud of God led them by day and a pillar of fire led them at night. They complain about the lack of meat to eat. They're tired of the day-to-day eating of manna. And Moses can't handle all of their complaints. And he asks God for a merciful death instead of having to bear the seemingly constant complaints of the Israelites. For me, facing this upcoming dramatic change from transitioning from being a rabbinical student for the past 6 years, or 7 if we count my preparatory year in Israel, to becoming a rabbi last Monday night and beginning my new role as the rabbi of a community of hundreds of Jewish students faculty, and staff. So I understand the complaints of the Israelites. Change is scary, and the Israelites are ill prepared for change, for wandering in the wilderness with little consistency and little understanding of what is yet to come. After generations and generations of slavery, the Israelites in Egypt knew what to expect, knew what life under Egyptian oppression was like. But to be a free people, wandering in the wilderness, that was scary. And I am in that place too. As much as I detested the countless exams and papers of the past 6 years, there was a routine, a structure that I came to know and appreciate. The beginning of the school year, the high holy days, midterms, finals, winter break, a whole new semester, and so on and so forth, 6 times over and over again. But now I don't have to sit in class anymore. I get a phone and a desk and a door to my office. I get to schedule my own appointments. And we know where we're going, to Mary Oaks Drive and College Station, where the house that we bought will call home for the next few years. But the Israelites didn't have all of that. They left Egypt after being chased by an army of chariots, and they're tired and hungry, and they're living in tents. And even though they've experienced the presence of God on Mount Sinai and the tabernacle within the camp, it's been an emotionally exhausting time for them, and they don't know what's coming next. They complain. They complain bitterly to Moses about their lot. They wish they were back in Egypt, where they knew what tomorrow looked like, however difficult it might have been. Each year, on the last day of classes at the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies, the senior class of graduating rabbis teaches a siyum, a final lesson to the entire rabbinical school, to all the students and all the faculty. My class of 9 came up with a question that we thought we'd each answer in our own way. The question that the 9 of us attempted to answer was, what does it mean to conclude a period of study? And so we each selected a text from within the Jewish tradition in order to answer that question. Now, Moses' charge to the people at the end of chapter 10 that I attempted to sing for you reminds me of the text that I chose. My text was not a traditional text of conclusion, but actually a text of beginning, Tefillat Haderech, the traveler's prayer. I have used Tefillat Haderech often throughout my time in rabbinical school as a prayer for myself whenever I'm about to enter into a difficult situation. For the past few years, I have been a volunteer with the city of Los Angeles as a member of the mayor's crisis response team. And on that team, I don't know how to use this new talus at all. It didn't come with instructions. So. On the crisis response team, I respond to tragic incidents, usually fatal, in order to provide some sort of psychological first aid to the victims' families and their friends. During each of my responses, I have no idea what I'm going to encounter when I arrive. So I struggled to find some sort of prayer, some sort of reading within our tradition in order to help me focus and be prepared for what I would find upon arrival. And I chose Tefillat Haderech to say before driving to each tragedy I responded to. Let me read an English translation of Tefillat Haderech to you now. May it be your will, Adonai our God and God of our ancestors, to guide us in peace. Prepare us, support us, and lead us to our chosen destination in peace, joy, and well-being. And lead us home again in peace. Protect us from enemies and dangers along the way, from terrors that may confront us. Bring blessing to our endeavors. May we enjoy grace, love, and compassion in your sight and in the eyes of everyone we meet. Heed our concerns, for you are God, who responds to prayer and petition. Praised are you, Adonai, who listens to prayer. And so I taught this prayer to my classmates and to my teachers on our last day of class as not only a way of starting, but also as an ending, a transitional prayer of change. In a time of individual or communal crisis, I gained strength through this prayer. In communicating to God my own insecurities about the road ahead, whether that road is Interstate 10, or finishing a class, starting a new job, or just completing my bar bat mitzvah. And in our Torah reading this week, we encounter the Israelites moving from place to place, uncomfortable as we all are, with transition and change. And I encourage you to consider the value of prayer like Tefillat HaDerech to help you find strength and faith during any transition in your life. Who knows? Maybe if the Israelites had known about Tefillat HaDerech, they wouldn't have complained so much. As I transition to my next journey, to my new home, I'd like to thank this community, this holy community, for its love and its support during these past few years. Thank you for welcoming my family and me. Thank you for teaching me and helping me to grow as a human being and as a rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.